Now, when getting ready to film this episode of A2Y, I failed to properly make up my set. And so the following clip you're going to see is the result of somebody who didn't quite see things through all the way into the future. As a young person usually does, he saw the short-term thing and the long-term thing and instead decided to do his best Mario impression, and this is how it went. So make sure you're looking into the long term so you don't end up having to do with your best Mario impression or whatever your short-term failings may be. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of A2Y. I'm your host, Addison Young, and I would normally say as always and forever, but ladies and gentlemen, I gotta be quite honest with you. This is the first episode in a long time where I was actually very nervous to go on camera and talk about it. And there's a few reasons for that. This is what I would call a metal message. And for those of you who know me, you know, when I say metal, I typically mean serious. I normally say it when someone it's very serious. It's, normally I use it in referring to verses you would hear in metal songs, just very serious, very down to earth, and just very metal-like in their appearance, tone, and reading. And I would very much describe this as a metal message because I was scrolling through Instagram the other day, and normally Instagram has a lot of trash, but I try to follow some of the not trash, and this verse came up in my feed, and I'm very happy to say that I actually was so enthusiastic about it. I screenshotted it and made it my background for a while, and then I got distracted and put in Beast Gohan as my background for my phone because I'm kind of a big nerd. But that's enough about me. Let's get to this verse and just dive right into this message because it has a point that initially made me very uncomfortable, and that's why it inspired me. And it made me so uncomfortable, I've actually been thinking about it for the last 2 weeks. I kept looking at it daily. I'm a teenager, I look at my phone too much, and so every time I look at my phone, I'm thinking about this verse. And this verse is Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 8. If I announce that some wicked people are sure to die, and you fail to tell them to change their ways, they will die in their sins, and I will hold you responsible for their deaths. Do you see why I would describe this? Let me make sure I'm on the right slide. I am. That this is a very metal verse. It's almost I'm very uncomfortable saying this verse on camera, knowing I'm going to post this to YouTube, because it's very serious. And the reason why it's so serious to me, and as I was writing this message today, I came across the thought that had been gnawing at me since I originally saw this. This verse really feeds into the premise of the phrase, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." Think about it. When people are saying that, they're saying good intentions pave the road for you or others to go to hell. And this verse is really tackling that straight head on, just ramming a train through it. I'm going to read it again. If I announce that some wicked people are sure to die, and you fail to tell them to change their ways, then they will die in their sins, and I will hold you responsible for their deaths. I mean, if that's not a metal verse, I don't know what others are. This is almost crazy in a sense. You don't see a lot of verses that are so straight on, just so straightforward, that people are willing to talk about in this day and age. So many people get softened because they have good intentions. And this kind of brings me into what I want to talk to you guys about today. It's true. Good intentions can pave the way to hell, because maybe you're looking at your friend, you're having good intentions that you're not going to tell them that the way they're living or what they're doing is wrong, because you have good intentions and you don't want to ruin their life, because it's giving meaning to them, it's making them happy, they're living their truth, whatever, because you have good intentions and you don't want to cause them emotional distress or harm. But the Bible says that if you don't warn them against the wrongs of their ways, then you are responsible for their actions. It's crazy, because normally I'm talking about individualism on the show and looking into yourself and rooting out your problems and stopping your sin. But this verse deliberately is talking to you to go to others and try to help them in stopping their wicked ways and their sins. It's different than my normal tone, because this verse really challenged me in my ways. Where am I failing to go to other people and warn them about their wicked ways and their wrongdoings Because the Bible says right here, if I fail to tell them, I basically am doing the wicked things myself. I'm doing the terrible things myself because I'm failing to warn them toward the actions that they are making. In a sense, this is really holding you accountable for not letting the people around you know the truth of Jesus Christ and the truth of the biblical word. Because the Bible doesn't say, I'm going to talk about the next message, and this next message, it doesn't say that you have to convert them to Christianity, or you got to make them fall in love with Jesus Christ, or any of those things. It just simply says, if you warn them. Let's go ahead and read it. Ezekiel chapter 33, verse 9. This is the very next verse. But if you warn the wicked person, to turn from their ways, and they do not do so, they will die for their sin, though you yourself will be saved. So this verse isn't all fire and brimstone telling you got to warn the people around you to do different with their actions, to behave differently, and to change their ways completely. The Bible is simply demanding of you to make sure that you warn them. Because if you see your friend driving their bicycle straight toward a cliff, going really fast, just having the time of their life, but they're going straight toward the cliff, are you going to tell them they're about to go straight off the cliff? Or are you just going to let them fall off the cliff? It's going to be, bye. Hope you have fun. It's a really long fall. No, you would be doing everything in your power to warn them, to tell them, hey, hit the brakes, get off the bike, whatever you need to do to stop them from falling off that cliff. And yet so many times in our daily lives, we are not doing that because we have good intentions and we don't want to hurt them and we don't want to cause emotional distress or emotional harm. But I ask you, what will win out in the end? Your good intentions and your willingness to just go along and let them have fun, or the biblical truth that you know and have in your heart? This is a very hard thing to come across. I know so many people that I haven't warned, or so many people that I've warned, and I know they just keep going down the wrong ways. But I know that with the people I have warned, I have at least done my very basic of jobs here. I've done the very basicness of letting them know, hey man, you are going straight for that cliff. It's going to happen. I'm not saying you're going to go off now. I'm not saying you're going to fall off right now. I'm saying eventually you are going toward a path. The path you're on right now is going to lead you straight off that cliff. And when you go off that cliff, it's going to be really rough. It's going to be a hard fall. There's jagged rocks down there. It's not going to be a fun fall. But I've warned them that they're going toward the cliff. But I needed to look into my own life and start looking around and find the people I haven't warned. Because the Bible tells me, it straight up tells me, in a very, no fluff, no niceness around it. I have to tell them. I have to warn them they're going toward the cliff. Because if I don't warn them that they're going off the cliff, I might as well be on the path with them on a tandem bicycle, riding with them, because I have too good of intentions to let them know that they're not doing the right thing. I need to look into my life and find the biblical truth to make sure I'm doing what the Bible tells me, make sure I'm warning the people around me, warning the people I know that they're going toward the cliff. Because like it says, if I fail to do it, let's go look. When they die in their sins and they fall off that cliff, it says, and I will hold you responsible for their deaths. If they fall off the cliff and I failed to warn them, I'm responsible for not being the one to tell them, hey man, you're going toward the cliff. Do you want to look at the end of your life and just look around and remember all the people you knew and remember all the times you didn't tell them they're going to the cliff? That's all for A2Y. Like I said, I was a bit nervous about this one, and I think justifiably. But I want you to remember this. Are you going to go through the rest of your life with nothing but good intentions? Or are you going to go through the rest of your life with the biblical truth in your heart and the conviction to do what you know is right? Thanks for watching this interesting episode of A2Y, and I sure hope I'll see you next time, because I hope I don't get canceled. Goodbye.